is done. Breaking deal. We are close. He's going to sign a deal. United are pushing this player. United are doing all sorts of stuff with Sandro Tonali. We're focusing on the rumours today. We're not. I'm not even going to give you a transfer update at this point because it is crazy. So look, let's get straight into it. Sandro Tonali. Look what is going on. Sandro Tonali, people are bored again, so they are clearly putting two and two together and getting 16. So Sandro Tonali, look, these reports are coming from Italy, and they are coming from, I forget his name now. I have written his name down. I've come from Demarcio. This is where it's come from. Look, I've just got back from. Look, this is coming from Demarcio overnight. Demarcio used to be good, and now it is exploded. You know, look, guys, Tonali today has exploded, and I think everybody's lapped it up. Look, what is the truth on Tonali? I'll give you the truth on Tonali. We will talk about this quickly, but look, Tonali is the subject matter today on what's come out overnight from Tonali. Actual Wilson says, hi, hello, I hope you're doing extremely well. So get in there with your chats on Tonali and what you've heard already. And look, let's just break this down. Look, this has come from Demarcio overnight that Tonali, Edison has been mentioned as well. But apparently that Newcastle are out of the Champions League, and the British media, the British outlets, the United stand driven by clickbait again and again. You know, I've given them the benefit of the doubt again the last couple of weeks. I've not said a word, but again, driving a narrative this morning to get your clicks. Look, we are not close to the Tonali deal. We're nowhere near. It is not close. It is not deal done. We are not knocking on Tonali's door, and we are not knocking on the Geordie's door, banging it down, and we've agreed. This is not close. This is not deal done. This is not deal 50% done. This is a media narrative driven again by the United stand, by other outlets to get you to click on the media. But what we do on here, look, we do talk about this stuff, and we do our own transfer updates. But I've waited all day for the dust to settle on this, just so you know, I'm not buying into any of this crap. If it was even partly true, I would come on and I would do my own show. But look, I'm not going into that because it is basically a load of nonsense. Clickbait. Look, Grace, it is not clickbait. It is not clickbait. Look, I am here to tell you today that the £100 million is nowhere near done. There is no headline on the thumbnail to tell you guys that this deal is close. This deal is nowhere near close, and we'll go into the reasons why. Look, it just baffled me. But so Grace is in the house as well. Colin says, would love Tonali, but expect Newcastle to hold out for 100 million like they did with Isak. Italians don't do well at United. Rossi, Kiko, Taibi, yeah, exactly. Arsenal won the title. Yes, they did. So look, where are we on this stuff? So look, Tonali in, Tonali out, Tonali shake it all about. I've got done God knows how many shows we've done. Look, you're not going to hear a word from me that Goldbridge is not the best. You guys love Goldbridge. I don't care. I'm just stating the obvious on this channel, is that I'm telling you that Tonali is nowhere near done. The United stand, go and drive a narrative on clickbait. That is simply not true. I'm here to give you the facts. The difference that you'll get on this show with me is I don't buy into the media narrative. I'm going to come on here and look. This is your transfer update, if you like, but this is a true update. Not trying to get you in to basically fill you with crap. I'm telling you from the outset that this deal is nowhere near to be done. So Grace said Carrick is better than Emery. Look, Carrick, Grace, we all know, Grace, you've embarrassed yourself on the Emery stuff, Grace. You've embarrassed yourself. You've dropped the ball, Grace. You've given me comedy gold. So I think you need to go and sit in the corner, ruminate on what you've done, and so forth. Scott is in the house. So look, let's get on to this. Look, so where are the United stand getting their clickbait headlines from? Where are United Forever getting their clickbait stand? Where is everybody getting their clickbait stuff? And now, Scott, the difference is there is no clickbait from me. I'm telling you from the outset the truth on this transfer. And the truth is that this is nowhere near done. This is not even close. And I'm going to give you the reasons as to why it's not even close. Now, look, number one, Newcastle do not want to sell. The Geordies do not want to sell. Emery to United JB at 100%. Carrick not announced what is out with his club. Well, look, they're probably trying to save themselves 50p here and 50p there, aren't they? So look, why is this nowhere near done? Now look, the reason why this deal is nowhere near done is, let's talk about this from a logical perspective. Newcastle do not want to sell their player. They don't want to do it. They are going to sell him for 100 million quid. 100%. They are going to be looking for that sort of money. KK says we ain't going to buy the first tier. It's going to be Carlos Belay, but KK, that would be crazy. It's what I've heard. That's why Carrick has not been announced. Look, Scott, if that is the truth, I've not heard anything else. If Emery is going to be the guy that gets announced, I tell you what, United have gone up in my estimation. If that breaks, Scott, I will reach out for that, because that will blindside everybody. I will 100% give them kudos on that. Remember, JB, it's friends with Jim. He knows what's going on. Ineos, friends. Friends. I do, Grace. I do. I have got my ear to the ground. Canada Day says, this is looking like a bad summer coming up. Slow and cheap. Is this about Tonali? We don't have him because of betting issues. Now look, Switch, I'm going to come and tell you the real story. And the real story, I'll take some credit for breaking it to you. Well, look, Scott, if this is true, as always, buddy, I will give you a shout out. Look, we are breaking down the transfer bollocks that have gone off today. Look, whilst everybody runs on to be first, Tonali for DiMarcio overnight. DiMarcio has said Tonali is going to join United. Everybody, look, he's been wrong so many times. He has been wrong so many times over the last 5 or 6 years. But no, stop and hold the front page. Tonali, look, again, it's this regurgitation of this same old crap. Look, let's go through it. The transfer news today is Tonali. United are ready to break the bank for Tonali. United are ready to go and get in there. Now, there's a couple of problems, people. There's a couple of problems. There's a couple of no shirt today. I went out and come back in again, so there is no shirt, sadly, today. But let me tell you the reasons, the logical reasons. Look, I'm doing a financial show. I'm just doing a financial show now, which I will be putting up soon. And basically, what it is, what it transpires is that United basically don't have the funds to do the deal now. Look, we are not close to doing a deal. Even if this club was doing a deal with this player, is it Under Armour? Yes, it is. If United were doing a deal with Tonali, okay, We are not anywhere close to doing this deal because we simply cannot do this deal until July the 1st. Now, when we talk about breaking deals on this channel, it is, I promise you, we are nowhere near this deal being done. We 100% cannot get this deal done until July the 1st because we don't have the money. The new financial year hasn't rolled over yet. We are not going to announce any deals until after this date. Newcastle are going to drag us through them. We spent 7 weeks negotiating with a Brentford. How the hell does this club and people who are today, apparently the Tonali deal is nearly done. All we're doing is we're going over there, we're going to give them a box of biscuits and it's going to be signed. 100% not. We don't do deals. We don't do deals until July the 1st. Brentford, we spent 7 weeks negotiating with Brentford. And Newcastle are owned by multi-billionaire Saudis with lawyers coming out of their ears. They negotiated Liverpool with Isak. Tonali is probably their last major asset that they've got. How are we going to get this deal done? We absolutely were not going to get this deal done. Now look, I'm going to stop for a second. Kieran is in the house as well. Aston Villa. Look, big up to Aston Villa. What a performance by Aston Villa. And I will, on the back end of the show, mention that as well, by the way. Aston Villa, what a performance, Kieran. And big up to Aston Villa. Absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy for Aston Villa. Congratulations to them. Brilliant, mate. Look, Kieran, I've got nothing to say other than amazing. I think that is one of the highlights of my season so far is Aston Villa winning the Europa League. Absolutely fantastic. Grace, you're fighting a losing battle. But look, I will get into the chats in a second, so just keep putting in your chat. I promise I will get back there. But look, Newcastle are not going to do this deal easy. They don't want to sell the player. They have all of the cards. Newcastle have all of the cards. Look, to go on a different slant to this, Newcastle, look, they're not in European football. Tonali has apparently put in a transfer request. The transfer request is not into us. It is a transfer request out there. It is not to us. Tonali will probably leave, but Newcastle are not going to. I almost feel like sometimes in this fan base, it's almost like we have this reset of our brain. Newcastle, this is not 1995. This is not 1996. Newcastle are not that club anymore. You don't go to Newcastle and take their players. Newcastle are a big deal just because they can't get their money. Yo, David Niche fan is in the house as well. I'll promise you, I'll go through the chat. Look, they don't roll over. We are not going to walk into Newcastle and get this deal done. The only way we get this deal done, and you've got to imagine this, we've got Wilcox negotiating the deal. Barada, Sir Jim is involved. The Glazers are involved. It literally is like a comedy sketch, and we're going to go to Newcastle. The only way, and let's be clear on this, and let's give respect to Newcastle. Let's be clear. The only way we get Tonali is if the Geordies decide they want to sell him. We don't walk in there and we take the player. That doesn't happen. So look, the Newcastle factor is a massive factor. Look, if you think spending 7 weeks negotiating for a Brentford player is slow, this Tonali thing is going to go out of the whole of the summer. And look, it is not need that. So I'm going to get into your chats, and then I'm going to give you the second reason as to why this is nowhere near done at all. So let me get through the chats. You guys are legends, and in the chat, look, keep getting in there. Give us the video a like. Come on, 7 likes. Come on, let's just get this up. Come on, let's just get these likes up. Tumba says hello. It's just to drive the price up. Exactly. Carrick's still not announced. Yeah, we ain't going to buy the first tier. First tier is Carlos. Belabor says KK. That's what I heard. I will go through the chats. Have a look. Can we forget about these bloody midfielder tiers and just buy 3 midfielders? Says Grace. I agree with Grace. No United shirt today. No. Is that Under Armour? Yes, it is. Sorry, look. I don't normally buy Under Armour. I'm just saying it's normally Nike, you know. Carrick has won nothing. We can't experiment this year. Canada Dave, I'd rather pay 120 for Morgan Rogers. Kim Beale says, good evening, guys. Hello. A good mate is a better fit for Manu and Bruno than Anderson. Thoughts, but fans wouldn't like it because he's not a big net. Well, exactly. People are just obsessed because he gets driven by the media, driven by people's views, gets driven by channel views, gets driven by their views. People in this country's views are driven by what they're told to think. Valley Joe says, so we're not signing any players till July. Pathetic season is a wrap. Look, Joe, that is how we operate, Joe. Look, this club is run like a business. I'm going to put out an amortization show. It is going to be very, very exciting, by the way. So I'm just saying, it's going to be bloody exciting. I'm working. It's taking me. So look, when I put out my next show, it's going to be an edited show. You better like it because it's taken me bloody ages to do, and it is funny. And I want you guys to like it. Kieran, legend. No, Kieran. Big up to Aston Villa. Carrick would have won the league with Villa. I love it. David, niche fans in the house. It's going to be slow summer. The only fast we can get is Fernandez and Belabor. We don't care about Villa being a mid-table team. Now, I care. I care. Dennis says, hi, how about Anderson? Is he going to City? Yeah, I've heard that as well. Look, I keep telling you on this channel, I keep telling you guys stuff, and you don't believe me. I keep telling you lot of stuff, and you don't believe me. Anderson is probably going to go Man City. Look, City are going to chuck everything at this player. I've been told that United are pretty much resigned to the fact that he's going to go to City. As I've said, Tonali, for example, we can't move. We cannot move until the 1st of July. The last few years, we were never prepared for the part of the season. JB, a road man. It is true, mate. We need Alex Scott, Granit Xhaka, Matthias Fernandes. Let's get real, get the deals done. Do you think Shesko will become injury prone? No, I don't. It's blown open, unconvincing bar to chase Arsenal. Chelsea, a mess. Slot staying, Pep gone. Ineos have to go all out this summer. SS Red, I couldn't agree with you more. Kieran says, JB, quick on thoughts on Southampton punishment. Sorry, no. I think Southampton don't cheat. Look, it's I think the Southampton thing has been very, very not funny, but I think the Southampton thing is a farce. I think it's comedy gold. I can just imagine someone with a great big lens. Look, don't get caught cheating. Just don't get caught cheating. And I mean, in Kieran, in all aspects of life, if you are going to cheat, don't get caught doing it. Don't get caught with your pants down. Southampton got caught with their pants down. You're gonna have to take the blame. Anderson is right to choose City. He's an 8 and will play next to Rodri. Dubai says we can do better than Tonali. Where's that to a many guy? Look, to a many, did he transfer to UFC? Look, he is probably going to sign a new contract. I think he will. Rodri will join Madrid this summer, says Scott. Is it not or never? Otherwise, we'll be a top 4 contenders for another years. Well, let's see. JB, who do you support in the Premier League? Who do I support in the playoff? Look, I've got a lot of respect for West Ham. Got a lot of respect for Spurs as well. That's the misses. I've got a lot of respect for Spurs. The thing is, I've got a lot of respect for both teams. Simple as that. Simple as that. I like West Ham. I like Spurs. I'm abstaining. I can't pick a side. I can't pick a side. Caught in their binoculars. Is it true that Carrick got 36 points this season so far, says Andrew. Yeah, Florian Vert says Timber right now. They called us bottlers. Now we're holding the bottles, says Timber. I know, right? Do we need to turn up to Bournemouth with a minibus? Alex Scott, Tyler Adams, Senesi, Krupi, Truffet. I know, but the thing is though, right? The thing is though, is there method to the madness? Because Bournemouth could finish in Champions League spaces. So if Arsenal win, they get 6, right? They get 6 in there. Look, what are we, Bournemouth FC? So, look, I know, and you're right. Are we basically going to take their players? Exactly. I'll tell my wife said that, JB. I'm okay to cheat, but don't get caught. No, Kieran. You cannot blame that on me. That is not me. That is not me. Ling Ling caught him with his pants down, mate. You never catch me, mate. Anderson will go to City, Rodri to Madrid, and too many to come into United. You had to support a championship club. What would it? I'd say maybe Wrexham or Ipswich. If I was going to support a championship club, it would be Swansea City. Arsenal won, but the team is average. Really, there's an opportunity to build a better team, says Sally. Yes. Now, look, to go back to the Tonali stuff. Now, look, you look really shifty. Mate, it's like being told off, isn't it? It literally is like because I'm doing something, she knows I'm doing it, but she comes in. It's like I'm expecting to be told off by the teacher, right? I'm expecting bad news. I'm always expecting some bad news, but look, it's not. So Tonali, look, where are we? Grace, we're gonna fall out, Grace. So Tonali. So look, we're talking Tonali. I'll give you another quick rundown on Tonali today because that's why you've got mate. That's why these lines are getting deeper and deeper and deeper, mate. That's why my lines are getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Thank you for the way you treated me. Look, Kieran, mate, you don't have to thank me, buddy. It is decency, my friend. Common decency. Legend, Kieran, legend. So. Tonali. The overnight has been reported by bloody DiMarzio. Everyone's jumped on it. He's going to come. Look, he's nowhere near. We've spoken about the Geordie angle. Let's talk about financially. I'm going to put out a financial show, and like I said, you better watch it. It's bloody good. I'm just doing an edit. And he's going to explain to you about. And look, yesterday I saw some fantastic financial shows. Yesterday I saw some good shows out there trying to explain the money coming in. It's not all quite correct, but I'm going to do a correct show today. Dubai says DiMarzio is top tier news. Well, yeah. I mean, look. So look, I'm going to do that, and as part of that financial show, it's really important that we discuss amortization, and this is boring. And I reckon Jason Wilcox falls asleep because I don't reckon even he understands this, right? We've got to talk about his fee. We have got to talk about Tonali's amortization, his squad cost, his fee. I know it's boring, but it's going to be very, very expensive. Tonali's going to be 100 million. Tonali's going to want 300k. Tonali is going to want agents' fees. Tonali is going to want a signing on fee. Look, we are probably talking in the region of, to do this deal in total, I think we're probably talking the best part of 150, easy. By the time you put in the wages over 5 years, the signing on fee, look, we were talking about amortizing probably about 35 to 40 million pounds. Are United going to do it? Are United going to sign a single player for 100 million? But people are missing the point, and I'm trying not to get animated, and I'm trying not to this is what other channels miss. This is what other shows miss, and this is the beauty, whether you like it or not, of this channel. Somebody that understands the numbers, somebody that understands the financial side of football. It's going to be, it is not the 100. The 100, and I know this sounds crazy, the 100 million pound price tag is not necessarily the worst thing. It's almost a bit like this. If you go out and you go buy a Ferrari, second-hand Ferrari, okay, and it's worth, let's just say it's worth £1 million. You get it for £100,000, an absolute bargain. But the cost to keep that car could be £300,000 a year. It is not the outlay for the asset. It is not the outlay for the player fee. It is the wages that will absolutely kill us. And this is what Ineos are trying to stay away from. Ineos, people think that Casemiro's wage is gone, 350's gone, Sancho 250's gone, Rashford 300k. Ineos don't want to give those wages back out. They can do that. But Tonali, it is not the 100 that is going to be an issue. It is going to be the wages. And as the buyer says there, 100 million pounds plus 300k, 350k. That is what it's going to be. So look, financially, this doesn't it makes sense because it is a big player. That's the money you pay for your, and look, it's not just 100 million pounds. It's just, we need to get this into our heads. This is what's causing the wrinkles. It is not just the fee, it is amortization. It is, which is the combination of the player's fee. It is the combination of the agent's signing on fee, which is going to be high, the wages, the bonuses. Look, I don't think this is going to happen. So I think that when we've got the United stand, and I'm calling them out again because it's very clickbait again, very much that we're basically there. We're nowhere near. There is no pen. I doubt there is a United pen within 200 miles of a Tonali. We are nowhere close to getting this deal done from a financial perspective, and that's both agreeing the wage, agreeing the structure. We also don't do deals. We don't even start doing deals until July the 1st. So we've got at least another month. And number two, Newcastle are not, look, they are not going to roll over and have their tummy tickled. They're not going to. So who reported it on the United stand? The buyers. Who do you think? Who do you think drives the clickbait? Who do you think drives the clickbait and insinuates that this deal is close? The deal is not done. The deal is not close. The deal is nowhere near close. So look, guys, it is just a really quick show, more so for me to moan. Gary Neville says Scott, love it. Let me get through some more of your chats. And then see what we're saying. Demartio top of your years. I'd say Arsenal deserve the title. They've been working hard for 22 years, never been out of the top 5 since they had lots of chances to win trophies but lose. They're always unstoppable in cups. If we don't get a proper holding midfielder and a touchline winger, I'll be really disappointed, says Grace. How does that work? Exactly. Hello, Milan Baros, Liverpool legend join. Look, honestly, Milan Baros, if that was true, Milan Baros, I absolutely, I remember you playing in a was it a World Cup or a Euros? Barros, look, mate, I've got all of the time in the world. Sadly, it's not Milan Barros. It's a shame because I liked him as a player. I know he played for Liverpool, but he was just one of those players that it just used to make me laugh. Just one of those cult Premier League players. Really, really cult. But look, no, I wish it was Milan Barros. It's not. If it is, you are a legend. You are a cult figure. Ray says Tonali or Anderson. If we get either, it's a statement. Look, Ray, we're not getting either, mate. Ray, stop buying. Ray, stop buying into this United stand media clickbait crap, because we're not. Goldbridge didn't say Tonali to United. He's only yes, he's only reporting the news. Remember that, he's only reporting the news, as Grace knows, as she's his biggest fan. Can't wait for the summer, full of updates, but nothing by Fabrizio, clickbait king. Exactly. Remember, JB, if you get Emery, shout me out. I will do, buddy. Yes, it was a close win, says Milan. Hi, JB, I'm going to enjoy the summer knowing that things are looking good for United, especially since Celtic have won the league. Now I have to go. Thanks, mate. Thank you, my friend. Tonali is not worth 100 mil. I'd say right now. 45 plus 90, I'd say that's fair. Play swap, nah. Florian, mate, never. Not in 1,000 trillion years. So look, guys, it was just a quick show. I just to say hello. I will be back this evening. I'm going to do a late show tonight. So the late show. So Jacobs lost credibility when he decided to do podcasts. Look, I'd love to have Ben Jacobs on here. I would love to get him on here, but I'm guessing I'm not going to be paying the big bucks. So, he's not going to come on here. But look, I will be back tonight with the late show. If you've never seen the late show before, these are your shows. So come on, get in your comments. I will come in with a topic tonight, and the topic tonight is going to be Ugarte. I'm going to talk about Ugarte tonight and what Ugarte represents. And it's not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. I think what's happened to Ugarte and what we've done there just shows how bad this club have fallen. So look, there's going to be a show tonight on Ugarte, not specifically necessarily on him, but it's going to be on the subject of Ugarte represents a failure for this club. So look, I will be back this evening. Have a good, what about the Ekitike injury? Ekitike, sad times. Look, I do wish him a speedy recovery. Rod James and Maguire out of the World Cup squad. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all. But look, I will be back tonight. Bring in your stuff tonight. I'm going to do the late show, which is your show. It is the place to be, 10 o'clock. And yeah, it's going to be your show as it is. Come with those stuff tonight. And look, have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. You guys are legends. Thank you for supporting the channel. Rob, good. Sure. Look, it is what it is for sure. So I will be back this evening. You guys are legends. Thank you for the support as always. I'm JB. This is the United Devil Challenge, and I will see you amazing people tonight. Take care.